What's up, everybody? This is the Four Corners podcast. I'm Keith Rivas, joined again by the best parts of the team in Corbin and Abraham. Abraham turns 24 this Saturday, so special shout
Bless
out to
up, bless up. Thank you. Looking
no
forward to the
problem.
shenanigans this Saturday.
Always good to kind of see what the new you comes around with the birthday. We'll get this episode started off with probably the biggest news of today in the basketball world. The long-awaited NBA All-Star Draft, I guess if we want to call it that, happened. And we kind of saw two sides, I guess, approaches to how these two guys are going to win the All-Star game in their mind, with Steph and LeBron picking their starting five and also picking their reserves. So Abraham and Corbin, I don't know. Either of you can go first on this one. LeBron picked Kyrie to be one of his starters. He also picked both Pelicans in DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, and then he added Kevin Durant to his starting five.
Man, look. LeBron had the first pick. He had the first pick, and, it was either going to be KD, AD, maybe even Boogie.
Right.
Steph had the second pick, and he didn't pick either of AD or KD, not Boogie. What was Steph? You know what? Earlier this week, LeBron said that he wanted to make the All-Star game competitive again. He wanted it to be back to what it used to be. He felt like it had diminished over the past couple of years. But with this team that he picked, I expect a blowout. I expect Team LeBron to take it, and it's not even going to be close. I mean, you look at this roster, you have DeMarcus Cousins, who's been killing it this season.
I mean, even if you went matchup for matchup, I mean, it's not even close. And if
it's not
5-on-5 collectively, I mean, just every individual matchup, they feel like LeBron won.
It's at the point guard, at the one, we have Kyrie versus Curry. We all know how that's going to go. We've seen it time and time again for the past three finals.
Look at the last time they played in Game 7.
At the two guard, you have LeBron versus Harden or Durant versus Harden. That's a mismatch on itself. Either one.
Right.
And then you have either one, either Durant or LeBron versus DeMar. Another mismatch. Then you have AD versus Giannis. Then you have DeMarcus versus Joel. I mean,
the only area I would even give Curry's starting five like a glimpse of hope is the Giannis, if Giannis and AD match up. And I only say that because Giannis is a freak of nature athletically, whereas AD is more of a really powerful big man. So, I mean, the edge is not even going to be big if there is one there. And every other position, kind of like you were mentioning, Abraham, is just like it doesn't make any sense how Curry is going to pull this off.
But, I mean, even Corbin, I know you can agree with me on this. Anthony Davis is – everybody can agree with me on this. Anthony Davis is just the better shooter versus Giannis.
Right.
So while Giannis can definitely play on the perimeter, so can AD. And AD can hit his shots. He can play inside out. Giannis is more of an inside type of guy. This roster is just – it's not. It doesn't make sense to me. What was Steph doing? What does he just want to have fun, go out there, not take it serious? I mean, I get it. It's the All-Star game. It's your time to just have fun, relax. But LeBron definitely wants to compete. I see it. And shout out to him picking Kyrie too. I mean, everybody was hoping for some drama and whatnot, but it's at the end of the day, this is basketball, and LeBron wants to win, and he knows with Kyrie he can have a better shot of winning. So I appreciate that.
Corbin, tell me what you think about how the starting five draft kind of went for this All-Star game.
It looks like LeBron knows what he's doing and wants to win, as he said. And Anthony Davis used to be a point guard, but now he's a center just because he grew. That's the irony in that. So, yeah, he is the better shooter. It just looks – it's an All-Star game, so who knows if they will play defense. But if they don't, he's got more of the shooters, so should win. And then the athletes too: Westbrook, Wall, Oladipo, and Davis, it's those freak athletes, and Beal, who doesn't miss. And Durant, Irving, should be a blowout. Shouldn't be a close one, but you never know with no defense.
Even in the reserves, Curry didn't even try to redeem himself. You know, I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, you have Wall and Beal on LeBron's team, Westbrook, like you said, Corbin, Aldridge, Kevin Love, Victor Oladipo, and Kristaps Porzingis. Those are your reserves for LeBron. And then for Curry, you have Lillard, Butler, Green, Lowry, Thompson, Towns, and Horford. I don't know.
I mean, when you look at this roster for LeBron, look at his point guards: Kyrie, Wall, and Russell Westbrook. I mean, just look at the versatility that they give you. In terms of defense, you have John Wall, who's honestly one of the best defensive point guards in the league. You have the freak of nature of Russell Westbrook, who can do it all. And then you have Killer Kai, who's been clutch. I'm shocked by Curry. I don't know what he wants to do. This game is going to be interesting. I wish we had the draft televised live, just so we could see the order of the picks, and I can just judge Curry more. But hey, All-Star Weekend is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this All-Star game for sure.
Any other thoughts before we move on, Corbin, from the All-Star lineups?
No.
So on top of the All-Star game, which, like you guys have been saying, I think we can all agree it's really not going to be close. I don't know what you guys would put as an over-under for this, but I don't see LeBron's team like losing, obviously, and I don't see them winning more than maybe like 15. You know, it could obviously be worse than that, but there's no way in my mind that even Vegas is really going to go with the Curry team in this situation. But in any case, I digress. We have some other drama around the league too. Before we get to that, though, the Rising Stars Challenge is going to also kind of be interesting to watch. You had a couple Celtics, a couple Lakers, some Sixers as well mixed in there. What do you guys make of the young talent in the league right now? And what do you think this really means for the direction of the NBA once guys like LeBron end up retiring?
I believe the direction of the NBA is positive. You have a lot of very talented group of guys coming up. I mean, if we take a step back and just look at the college draft class in Marvin Bagley, Sexton, Trae Young even. And then we look at next year's draft class where you have Zion Williamson, Barrett. You know, it's the talent pool is not digressing. Whether we'll see anybody as great as LeBron, probably not. But we're still set for a bright future in basketball, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
And Corbin, what do you make of the young crop of talent in the league and also the ones that are on their way?
I feel like it might be worse than the All-Star game itself, just because also they added people. Usually it's sophomores and rookies. Now they added even those with third years on top of that. And what the cool thing is, I think in the last 2 years, they made it those in the U.S. versus the international, which makes it a little more competitive. And just shows how competitive the international overseas is. It'd be interesting, but I'd be more interested, on top of that, the skills contest and the dunk contest.
Who do you have winning the dunk contest?
Actually, right now I don't have anyone, but my nominees, I have Larry Nance Jr., Dennis Smith Jr., and I couldn't figure out the fourth person.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see who they pick.
Right.
As the fourth person.
Right now, based off what I can tell, the contestants will be Dennis Smith, Larry Nance, Oladipo, and Aaron Gordon. Are the four.
Aaron Gordon really takes this thing seriously, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, wait, why not? I mean, my money is on Dennis Smith Jr. Just watching him throughout the season. This is a guy who really wants to basically put you on a poster any chance he can get. And being the smallest guy on this out of the contestants, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do, and I think he can pull it out. I think he can win it. I hope it's an exciting dunk contest for sure. Last few years have been kind of weak to me. But hopefully we get back to seeing some amazing stuff.
I actually have Donovan Mitchell in there too, which would be nice to see. Those would be my top 4.
Nice.
I do think Dennis Smith is really going to use this to really showcase that he's special too, because I do think that with the other rookie talents you have, it's somewhat easy. If you look at like the overall picture of the league right now, it's so easy to gloss over what Dennis Smith can really do for a team, and that he really is that future in Dallas. And they're going to really have to go through him to be able to develop anything great. And dunking and being able to do stuff like this is really where his specialty is. So that's definitely something to look forward to. But I also wanted to get you guys' quick takes on other potential drama, non-All-Star related. First with Damian Lillard in Portland, asking to talk to the team owner just to talk about the direction of the team. No trade request has been officially made or anything, but of course, that kind of fuels speculation about where he's going to end up in the long term. Do you think that Damian Lillard is going to stick around in Portland for the rest of his career?
I don't know. I mean, he's a competitor, He's the type of guy who wants to win. He has the utmost confidence in himself.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, we're not seeing that pay dividends in the sense of don't seem to be competing. They don't seem to be holding their own in the very talented Western Conference. Yeah. And for someone of Damian Lillard's composure to be as competitive as he is, to be as confident as he is, it must be disheartening to not see that the team is trying to make moves to take that next step. I won't overreact and say that, he's trying to demand a trade or anything, but I feel like maybe just talk to management and said, look, what are we going to do in order to improve the team, in order to be competitive, in order to get over that hump and not just be a first-round exit. Let's go deep into the playoffs. Again, that competitive fire is very beneficial to him, and I hope they respond well to it, because Damian Lillard is a top point guard in the league. He's one of the best, and I would love to see some postseason Dame Dollar.
Right. What about you, Corbin?
So if you remember a while back, he said he didn't want to get traded. He wants to be the Kobe in Portland.
Yeah.
They seem to make the playoffs, whether they make it past the second round or first round barely, or get exit the first round. And then they have all the players, and even Caleb Swanigan, so we'll see how they do. But I think he'll be staying.
And then the other star I wanted to get your thoughts on real quick, guys, is Kawhi Leonard. With his whole rehab situation and kind of seeming more like he's more injury prone than a lot of people thought. It's kind of caused him to be what people are saying is distant from the Spurs. Do you think that means that he's going to want out at some point in the near future?
It's tough because Kawhi Leonard is one of my favorite players in the league. The Claw, he's one of the best two-way players, most efficient. And I can understand why he seems to be frustrated, disheartened. These injuries that keep propping up isn't really helping him. He's also a competitor. He wants to play. But at the same time, I don't think a trade will occur. I think that he stays in San Antonio because he is the face of San Antonio. LaMarcus Aldridge is balling right now, but that is Kawhi Leonard's team. And he's the future of that team. So hopefully, just like with the Dame situation, they're able to air out their issues and try to focus and regroup, because Kawhi Leonard, him in another jersey, man, it's gonna be weird. he just fits that Spurs system. He just fits that Spurs culture. So I can't imagine him anywhere else. What about you, Corbin?
It is a tough one. I say he'd stay, but then again, everyone's getting people that get older go over there to win championships. He wants to win one now. If he were to go somewhere, I just don't know where he would go. That's the only thing. You got to think about the cap space also and who he wants to play with.
Yeah, and it would have to be via trade too. So I mean, it depends on who has the best, who can offer the best package to the Spurs. Because I mean, when you want to move someone like Kawhi, you have to be willing to give up a couple draft picks and probably the second best player on your team. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't see how you get someone like Kawhi.
If not a little more, the Spurs could try and milk the situation. You know, if they really thought that it wasn't going to go anywhere with Leonard. But I mean, I still think it's going to take a lot more than a rehab disagreement to separate the star player of the franchise. You know, trying to cut ties with the team and all of that. It's going to take a little more than that. But I do think if Kawhi Leonard played anywhere else, it wouldn't take this much. And I think it's only because you have basketball genius and Greg Popovich who can handle these kind of situations really well. You know, you've seen how he's able to really take Aldridge's game to another level, even as Aldridge continues to get older. When he didn't really feel like it was a good fit for him to be with the Spurs any longer. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting offseason, to say the least, if nothing gets done, you know, by the February 8th deadline. Last thing I wanted to talk about NBA-wise was the Miami Heat releasing their Miami Vice jerseys. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at them, but they're very bright, and they fit the city, in my opinion, pretty well. But what's your guys' take on their new look?
I love it. I like the retro look. It's definitely something that I would love to see on the court, especially with how well Miami's been playing. They've been surprising everybody. They're the 4th seed right now in the East. They've been working hard, and seeing them in these I'm just looking at these jerseys. They stand out. I like it. I like it a lot.
Corbin?
I like the bright colors. It's just the city represents the city very well.
I think they definitely took the idea of having a new slate of uniforms to a whole new level. I mean, you know, you have teams like Milwaukee getting a cream jersey, or Phoenix having Low Suns on theirs, the Lakers going with a Mamba snakeskin type jersey, and then you have these. And you're like, wow, that's probably why they took a little longer than the rest of the league. They wanted it to kind of stand out. But, man, that's something else.
Talk about fashionably late.
Fashionably late, yeah, definitely. They definitely tried to make a fashion statement and succeeded at that too. But switching gears, before we get into football and the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl, wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts are on some of the NHL playoff matchups if the season ended today. Most surprising one, obviously, that stands out is the Vegas Golden Knights having, you know, one of the best records in the NHL, and they would get home ice advantage against the Colorado Avalanche if the season ended right now, and they're an expansion team in their first year. Yeah. So what do you guys thoughts on that?
Man, when you talk about expansion teams, you don't expect such immediate success, but the Vegas Golden Knights have been killing it this season. I mean, they have the second best record in all of NHL, you know, and that's a true testament to the coaching staff over there, to the players, and also as a whole to the NHL. There's such parity definitely amongst all competition. Congrats to Vegas in their inaugural season, being a playoff team and likely being the number 2 seed overall, but the number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
And they're only 1 point overall behind Tampa Bay, which, I mean, they're so close to even, you know, being first overall. And if an expansion team were to be the best team in the league in their first year, I mean, that would be something incredible to pull off. But Corbin, what's your thoughts on that?
Vegas strong. That's all I got.
Love that.
And what makes it even crazier is in the regular season series, the only time that Vegas and Colorado have played each other, it wasn't even close, and it was back in late October. Vegas won 7-0, which is a score you don't really see very often in hockey. They play back-to-back games in mid-March. That's the only 3 times they'll see each other the regular season. But some teams worth noting on the Eastern Conference side of things, and we were talking a little bit about this beforehand, with New Jersey and Philadelphia also making the cut. They're tied in points at 56 right now, and that's going to probably be one of the more physical series that you're going to see in all of the NHL postseason. So you guys have any thoughts on what that might look like?
Man, Jersey's strong, yo. We don't rock with Philly like that, So shout out to all my friends out there on the East Coast, Jersey, Philly. But when it comes to this hockey stuff, I'm hoping if the playoffs are to start today, I'm hoping the Devils beat that Flyers behind. We don't rock with Philly like that no more. We don't rock with them like that.
And Corbin, LA and Anaheim are just outside of the playoff picture. The Kings and the Wild are tied with the Avalanche for a playoff spot, but they're on the outside looking in if it ended today, and Anaheim is just 2 points behind them. Do you think that the Southern California hockey teams are at risk of not making the playoffs this year, even by a slim margin?
No, the way they've been playing lately, except for the Kings, they lost and Ducks won, but before that, they've been on a winning streak. And it's actually the Avalanche are in the playoffs right now. The Minnesota's out. They can make it. They're only down 2. It's because they go by points, so it's that far behind. Both they're just 1 to 2 games behind. So if they both play like they did, the Ducks play like they did last year, and the Kings play as they did when they won the Stanley Cup, they'll both make it. They still have all the pieces to make a run.
And I think the great thing about hockey too, and we'll see this when Vegas gets to host their first game, but just the passion that having home ice and having your fans, behind you every step of the way in a playoff series, it's unlike anything else in sports when it comes to playoffs. I think I'm really excited to see what Vegas can really do for the NHL moving forward. If they really pull this off, that'll be crazy. But switching gears to the other sport that everyone really loves talking about right now is the NFL. You have the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl to kind of close out the season. What are you guys looking forward to in the Pro Bowl? Does anything stand out to you?
I'm just looking to see cats have fun, we're going to miss a few bodies due to injuries, such as I'm not sure Travis Kelce will be participating, given that concussion he suffered in the playoff game. But I'm looking forward to seeing, some people have fun out there. Jared Goff is an injury replacement, and just balling out, The Pro Bowl hasn't been as exciting as it has been in the past, but I'm just hoping to see something relaxing, to just throw something on TV on a Sunday, see them ball out, see them have fun.
What are you looking for, Corbin?
Something today. I was doing some research. The Steelers' very own running back, Le'Veon Bell, dropped some bars, and they're all getting him hyped. So they're all having fun being loose, and it looks like the NFC is taking it more serious. Because I know the Pro Bowl is more loose. The NBA All-Star Game, compared to where it used to be very competitive and everyone's scored the most.
Right.
So NFC may win, but also they're all having fun, and it is a lot of young players their first time there. So it should be good to see how everyone reacts, and it'll be good for the fans. It'll be a good fan audience, different.
And then this all comes down, of course, pointing to the biggest football game every year, the Super Bowl. the Patriots are back in it. And somehow we have a Philadelphia Eagles team led by Nick Foles on the other side of the coin after they demolished Minnesota en route to a ticket to the Super Bowl. So Abraham, nobody's predictions ended up being right. For at least both teams making the cut. I was really excited. I checked the score. I checked the game. Jacksonville is winning, and I'm like, okay, cool. Jags are going to take this, and then everyone can shut up about Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, and we can move on. And nobody's going to have like a Blake Bortles Hall of Fame discussion if he won anyway. But it would have been nice to see a different face in there. But hey, you got to give Tom Brady some credit where it's due.
Man, I'm the only one amongst us who had the Patriots going. You
are, yeah.
It's like you can't bet against. You can't just bet against Brady and Belichick and the Patriots. I mean, whether you love them or you hate them, especially since most of America seems to hate the Patriots. To say that the Patriots won't make it to the Super Bowl this year is basically emotion talking. I mean, they haven't shown me anything this season that made me think they couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. Even that game against Jacksonville, I mean, yeah, Jacksonville was winning that game 20-10, and they're feeling good about themselves. They're getting pressure to Tom Brady. But, Tom Brady doesn't panic. That team doesn't panic. They start making plays. Yes, there were some questionable calls, but at the end of the day, the Patriots took care of business. So we're going to see him in the playoffs. We're going to see Tom Brady in the playoffs again for the 8th time in his career. For the 8th time. That's absurd. I mean, when we talk about greatest quarterbacks of all time, you have to put them in the conversation. The Pittsburgh Steelers
are top of the conversation now.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 6 titles as an organization. Brady,
and that's because legendary.
And that's legendary. Brady with the Patriots has won 5 and is on the verge of possibly winning 6.
With the same coach.
Exactly. While I was wrong about the Vikings getting there, that really pained my heart. I did not expect Philly to just give them such a whooping like they did. But I even if it was to be Patriots versus Vikings, I still thought Patriots would win. Now that it's Patriots versus Eagles, I mean, Eagles have done everything they needed to do. That defense has been great. The offense has been consistent. Nick Foles has been phenomenal. But it's Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I just can't bet against them.
What do you think about the Super Bowl, Patriots and Eagles?
Oh, should be a good one. They say something about they got their jersey colors picked, and then since the New England has the advantage or something with overall record, they got to pick jerseys from home field advantage, and they picked their white ones. As when they've wore the white ones, they've been undefeated in the Super Bowl the 5 times. Eagles have picked the green home ones. So the NFL and some sports teams, people are very superstitious. So they think by getting white jerseys, they should win another one. So it'll be interesting. And actually, the last time they picked white and the Eagles played and picked green, they both actually met in the Super Bowl a while back, a few years back, a couple years back, a long time ago, a decade ago at least, when they played Donovan McNabb and Westbrook. And they held on to win in the last minute on defense, which is something they actually don't have, which somehow got them here. So it's good. It should be an offensive, high-flying battle is what it's going to be.
So really it seems like
go ahead.
It seems like not a lot of people were ready to call it quits on Tom Brady, like Abraham has been saying. But as a Patriots fan yourself, it was a little surprising that you had Pittsburgh getting to the Super Bowl. What was it about the Patriots that kind of made you doubt or pause for a second?
Just their defense, their secondary, which came up big.
The secondary was going to cost them.
Yep, and they came up big in the last game.
Yeah, but that defense has been bad and not great. I mean, that's just their identity. Especially the last few years, they're not the best defense in the league. But somehow they manage to get it done when it's needed.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't know. Nick Foles, I think, is the biggest X factor we've seen in a Super Bowl in quite some time, and I just think it's because of his whole scenario in Philly, and now he has to play the GOAT, and that's what he has to do to basically re-legitimize his career. After starting in Philly, doing well there, and then kind of falling off and ending up as a backup in the depth chart in LA, and then now coming back to Philly, has a chance to win a Super Bowl when Carson Wentz really looked like the go-to guy for the Eagles. I don't know. If Nick Foles comes out and plays lights out against the Patriots defense, and it's to the point where Brady can't even respond, and this is going to be the Brady that's fresh off of a 28-3 comeback against a team they were supposed to lose to at that point as well. I think that's going to say a lot about how underrated Nick Foles was on everybody's radar, because they weren't even picked to beat the Falcons. So who is your Super Bowl pick? Obviously, you said Patriots, Abraham, but Corbin,
yes,
who are you taking, Corbin? Are you taking your own team?
I have to go with the Patriots by their common last field goal in the last few seconds.
Something crazy like that? Do you have a final score prediction in mind, Corbin?
Let's go 38-35.
Abraham, what about you?
Man, I will go 28-14.
28-14, a little more soundly beaten, I guess. I know I've played the devil's advocate before, but something about Philadelphia just tells me that they have more of a chance than people give them credit for. There are so many things, though, way more things, I think, in my opinion, that can go wrong for the Eagles. But I just think that in the Super Bowl, this is going to be the turning point for Tom Brady. Whether he loses by big, small, or overtime, or even if he wins, even if he wins, he's going to have a long, hard thought about what he's going to do football-wise after the season ends. And I don't see any better way to end it, especially in Nick Foles' book, than some ridiculous underdog win, because the Patriots are favored by like 5.5 points last I checked. And, for the Eagles to pull this off would just be something that I don't think any Philly fan is ever going to forget.
Yeah, this is true. It's going to be a fun Super Bowl. Philly fans, they're very active and proud, so I expect to hear a lot of ruckus from my friends back home about this game, so I'm excited for the Super Bowl.
Any final comments, Corbin?
Nope.
What about you, Abraham? Do you have a final word that you want to leave people with?
I just want to touch a little bit on college basketball, especially with the recent signings by basically Zion Williamson committing to Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Devils, they're about to be something crazy next year. We got
Duke is going to be nice. Duke's already nice as it is.
Yeah, we got the top 3 incoming freshmen for next year. You know what? That Duke team is going to be really athletic. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
So do you really think that Zion's going to be able to take it from high school to college and then jump to the NBA and still be able to be the kind of player that he is?
I mean, the possibility is always there. What I'm looking forward to is seeing his game on the college level, seeing whether he is only one-dimensional. Because, I mean, when you hear Zion, it's easy to see all the dunk videos. He's definitely an athletic freak of nature, essentially. But in college, you can't just rely on that, especially on a team like Duke, But Coach K will definitely utilize all of his guys to the best of their abilities. So it's going to be fun seeing how he plays. And if he can ball out in college, we'll be having this discussion again, whether he will translate well to the
NBA. Do you think that's going to be something that is more Coach K's credit or to Zion's credit?
I think both, because I mean, it will show just how good Coach K is as a leader, as a coach, as a developer. But it'll also speak volumes to Zion in terms of, did he have to change his game much, his maturity, his IQ? So it's both, in my opinion.
Does it say anything bad about maybe Kentucky's inability to snag a top recruit like Zion? Or is this just kind of where the wind blows?
I don't know. I mean, Coach Calipari had some choice words to say upon Zion signing with Duke. He wasn't too happy, basically called out Duke for promising lies to the players and how they don't do that. And he's still confident that Kentucky is perfectly fine when it comes to recruiting. They haven't digressed. And, I mean, to be honest, I don't believe they digress either. It's just Duke has definitely improved and become one of the best, but Kentucky still produces great talent, especially when it comes to translating to the NBA. That's one thing Kentucky has over Duke, is that their players translate a lot better. When we look at Duke right now, the most notable players in recent memory that are translating well is basically Ingram and Tatum. We have Okafor, who hasn't really done much, unfortunately. Ingram, in his second year, he's starting to develop a little bit more. We're seeing flashes, and Tatum has been killing it, although he's had a recent stretch of some slow games. But Kentucky, you look at their history, you have John Wall, you have DeMarcus Cousins, you have Anthony Davis, you have Rondo. You just have plenty of guys who come out of Kentucky and do a lot better in the NBA than compared to Duke. So Kentucky shouldn't be worried. Calipari shouldn't be worried, as he already isn't. They'll be fine when it comes to recruiting. They'll still get talent.
Corbin, any thoughts on some of the recent recruits and where they've gone?
No, it's just not really.
Well, guys, thanks for joining the show, and this will do it for episode 4. And we planned on having a couple more guests on today. They just weren't feeling well, and the other one wasn't able to make it. But be sure to stick around. Every Thursday, we're going to be having episodes, and it's going to be content starting next week you're not going to want to miss.
Take care.